Alright, just had a really nice meal at this new place I'd never been to. I do recommend it. It was really good. I think I'm gonna go jump in some 2-5 at Caesars. Max buy-in's 500. See if you can win some of this money back from all these tournament buy-ins we've been punting. So it'll be fun, but I'm kind of tired, so I'm not sure how long I'll play, but hopefully we can run up a stack. So we made our way down from our room to the poker room at Caesars Palace. One thing I didn't know that was pretty cool is if you are a Caesars Diamond status member, you actually get put to the top of the list. So we didn't have to wait very long for our seat at all. We jumped in the 2-5 and it was a max buy-in of 500. I'm not really used to playing 100 big blinds deep. Most places I play, it's 200 or more big blinds deep. So I'll just try to keep that in mind during the session. Also, I will warn you guys, there wasn't a lot of exciting hands I played. The table was crazy. There was a lot of action. I just couldn't find any spots, but I did end up playing for about 3.5 hours. So it was a decent session after a long day. And anyway, let's get into the few hands that I did write notes on and I did play. Alright, so I'm looking to get involved here, and the very first hand I look down at that's playable is Jack 10 offsuit. There's an early position limp, and I decide to raise to 15, and the small blind and the limper decide to call. The flop is King 3-3, and they both check to me, and because of my image, they probably perceive me as a tight player. I think this is a c-bet that I can get away with, take it down a lot of the time. It's a very static board. It's hard for them to have anything strong here. Also, I do block some of their weaker combinations of kings, like a king-jack, because I hold a jack in my hand. Another thing is I can also barrel on any queen or an ace. So with all those factors in mind, I decided to bet 20, and sure enough, they folded very, very quickly. So we took down our first pot, and we're off to a good start in this session. In this hand, we pick up 2 kings in middle position, and I make it $15 to go. The button calls and the big blind calls. The flop is 7-8 queen, 2 spades. Big blind checks, and I c-bet $20, and only the button calls. The turn is a 9 of spades, bringing in the front door flush, and I decide to check. I'm out of position, and this board is getting really bad for my exact holding, so I check, and luckily my opponent also checks. The river is an ace, and while I was planning to maybe go for some thin value, depending on what the river card is, this is definitely not the card I had in mind to bet, so I do check it to him, and he checks, and we show, and he mucks. So we win our second pot here. Unfortunately, this was the last hand that I made notes on. I was getting really tired and I'm not used to vlogging, so that was the only other hand that I had to show. There was some crazy dynamics happening at the table. I wish I could have got it all on video to show you guys. We had a guy at our table that was literally reloading almost every other hand for $500 at a time. He had a wad of what looked like about $10,000 in his backpack, but he had no intentions of keeping any of that. He was trying to give it all away. Sadly enough, I couldn't find any spots to get any of those dollars. I wrapped up the session after playing for about 3.5 hours. I was in for 500 and I cashed out for 560 for a profit of $60. It wasn't a huge win, but you know what? It wasn't a loss. So I'll take it, head to bed, and look forward to tomorrow. Just wrapped up a 2-5 session at Caesars. Max buy-in 500. We had a couple crazy people at the table. My friend Stephanie and I ended up at the same table, which was fun. But anyway, I'm exhausted. Gonna try and get some sleep and wake up tomorrow, probably do a workout, get a good meal in, and then play the Survivor tournament tomorrow night. It was kind of fun, and I don't know, I just want to have a good time and play more tournaments. So that's what we're gonna jump into tomorrow. So I will see you guys in the morning. All right, new day, new us. We decided we're gonna go eat some food, and then we are going to go play some cash at Venetian and wait until the tournament and jump in a $300 Survivor tournament. Alright, so we grabbed a quick bite for brunch and headed to the Venetian to play some 2-5 before our dinner reservation, and then to go play the Survivor tournament a little bit later. This was a really boring session. Not only was the table pretty tight, but I was so spot dead. I couldn't find any cards, any position, any spots to really get in there, and it was just a boring one, a lot of folding. But I will share one interesting hand that happened with you guys, and this hand happened right before we were leaving for our dinner reservation. So early position limps, he's very loose passive. I'm in the hijack with queen 10 of clubs. I make it $20 to go. The button, big blind, and the limper call. So we're going 4 ways to a flop, and the flop is king 9-7, 2 clubs. Pretty decent flop for my hand. So I was writing notes and not really paying much attention, and I didn't realize that the button had called, so I thought I was in position against these other 2 players, and Realistically, I think I should be checking my draw here out of position against 3 opponents, but I didn't realize the button was in there, and I had decided to c-bet, and I made it $35. Sure enough, I look over to my left and I see the button with cards and raising chips in his hand, and he makes it $160 to go. So it folds back around to me. So now I put myself in a really annoying position. Now we're out of position with queen high and a draw. Our stacks are deep enough where I can profitably call here. I'm just not happy with the situation I put myself in, but let's see if we can get some help. The turn is some help. It is the ace of clubs. So we make our queen high flush and I check it to him and he checks back. The river is an offsuit deuce and it changes absolutely nothing. Since he checked the turn, I definitely have to go for value now, and I want to make it a size where he'll look me up with a king, or maybe even induce him to put in a bluff raise, but I make it $130, and he quickly folded, so it was kind of a weird hand. I wasn't happy at all with the way I played it, but it did work out in our favor. We scoop almost a $500 pot right before having to head to our dinner reservation. So we're going to grab a quick bite to eat, head to the Survivor tournament, and then see what happens from there. Alright, today's food feature is going to be Yardbird. It's at Venetian and it's super good. One of my favorite things there is the BLT. It's made out of fried green tomatoes, pimento cheese, and some pork belly. It is so good. It's actually an appetizer, but to me it's a full meal. Super tasty. Anyway, that's my recommendation for if you're at Venetian and you need a quick bite to eat. Go ahead and check it out. Alright, here we go. Another tournament. This one is the $300 Survivor, where top 10% gets $2,500. It's a pretty fun structure. It's 30-minute levels. The only thing is it is more like a satellite, so you start with 12,000 chips. Not a ton of chips to work with, but it's still a fun one. So let's get into a few hands that I played here. So we're still in level 1 and blinds are 100, 100, and there's a middle position open to 500, and he makes it 5x, and I look down at ace king offsuit and I'm gonna 3-bet here and I make it 1,500. I don't want to make it any bigger because he already made it such a big sizing when he opened, and I don't want this pot size to get too out of control. We go heads up to a flop, and the flop is queen 10 6 rainbow. He checks to me and I c-bet for 1,000. And he makes the call. The turn is a deuce of spades. Now I have some decisions to make here. I actually have a lot of history with this opponent. He's played a lot of tournaments back home at my local casino, and one thing I know about him is he's pretty competent and he's pretty sticky. So I'm probably gonna have to 3-barrel bluff this one to get him to fold anything reasonable. He also knows that I'm capable of 3-barrel bluffing with hands like ace king. So against this particular opponent, I think I'm just gonna take my showdown value and also try to get to a river and hopefully improve. So I do decide to check here. The river is a complete blank and he checks again, and at this point I just don't feel like I can rep anything and get him to fold a hand like jacks or 9s, 8s maybe. So at this point I do wave the white flag and I check it back, and he had pocket jacks, so I actually don't think he's folding. I think I would have had to put my whole stack in by the river to get him to fold, and we had just started the tournament and we all know how the first Survivor tournament went for me, and I would really like to make it past the first level this time, so I decided to play this one safe and move on and see another hand. So just like that, I find myself in level 3 with 18 big blinds. After that first hand with ace king, I tried to raise a few times and got called multiple spots and had to fold. In this type of tournament, stacks get really shallow really fast just because of the starting stacks. So here we are with 18 big blinds and we have ace queen offsuit. There's a limp in early position and I stick it in there with 18 big blinds. We're all in. Fortunately, everyone folded, so we took down a couple blinds. And then this next hand happens. I'm currently sitting, well, more like sulking at the sports book at the Venetian. I have 11K to start the hand. The blinds are 100, 300, 300. Under the gun, lady who plays pretty face up raises to 1,000. Guy next to her calls 1,000. I'm on the button with aces. I can jam. I really don't want them to fold with my stack size, so I raise to 3,500, looking to obviously get it in any chance I get. She jams over my raise and I'm ecstatic. I'm jumping for joy inside. And the next guy, the guy who called her raise, he thought about it for forever and then folded. She has pocket 10s and I have pocket aces. and the board looked clean until the river, and there was a 10, and that's all she wrote. And she had me covered, and I'm out, and it sucks. I'm a little just tilted right now. I'm a little frustrated. I felt like I played so well. In this tournament, and I have nothing to show for it. Probably gonna jump in some cash now. There's a long wait, so I put my name on for the 1-3 or the 2-5. We'll see what comes up first, and I'll jump in and we'll go from there. Try to keep a positive attitude and just put everything in perspective. So that's what helps me come back from being frustrated, is just realizing this was just one out of the many tournaments I'm going to be playing, and I played my best. I truly feel like tonight I really played my best, and we'll get them next time. Alright, so after putting our name on the list, we did get called to a 1-3 game where the max buy-in is $300. Honestly, it was a big change from playing 2-5 where I'm buying in for $1,000 and there's usually a raise to $20, $30, even $40 pre-flop, and I get to this table and it was like a snooze fest. Everybody was limping, everyone had short stacks, and it was just limp, call, see a flop, someone bets and takes it down. Well, not when Ashley gets here. That's not what's gonna happen. So I'm already a little bit steamy from the tournament, and I'm ready to play super aggressive and give myself a certain image at this table, and that's exactly what happens. This was my funnest session by far of the whole trip, and I'm excited to share some hands with you because this was a fun one. Alright, so I sit down and immediately start raising over all the limps, and they're folding to me at first, but then I start to get some skeptical looks before I get dealt this hand. So there's an early position raise to 15 and 2 callers, and I look down at pocket kings on the button, and I decide to make it 65 to go, which is playing right in line with the image that I think I'm already creating for myself. Only the original raiser calls, and we go to a flop of 9-9-5, 2 hearts. He checks to me, and I bet $55. He thinks for a bit and then jams for 145 total. So I snap call, and he flips over king queen of hearts, and there is no sweat because right on the turn the 7 of hearts showed up, and we end up losing to a flush. So I immediately grab another $200 out of my bag and reload, and I definitely want to play off an image that I'm steaming a little bit. And I mean, I am actually kind of steaming a little bit because, well, we just busted a tournament, and then one of our first hands we get almost felted with pocket kings against king queen. But hey, we're just getting started. Shortly after that hand, there's a raise to $10 under the gun from a player who seems pretty frustrated, like he's been getting beat up at this table. So I make it $35 with pocket tens, and we go heads up to a flop. The flop is 2-3-4, 2 clubs. He checks to me, and I decide to check this board. The turn is a beautiful offsuit 10. He leads for $35, and I call. The river is the 4 of spades, so now we have the effective nuts here. He checks, and again, I'm going off an image that I'm playing a little bit reckless and a little bit crazy. So I decide to polarize here, and I make it $100. He thought for a while, he tanked, and then he did slide in the call, and I was really happy to see it. And I showed, and I think he showed what was ace-10 offsuit, but I didn't quite see the cards before he threw them into the muck. But either way, a really nice pot, and we're right back on track. Alright, in this hand, the same kid who we just took that pot from with the pocket tens raises under the gun once again, and this time he makes it $15. We look down next to act at ace-king offsuit, and we are going to continue to punish this poor soul, and we make it $55 to go. It folds it back around to him, and he has had enough of everything. He shoves his whole stack in there, and we snap call. And we end up catching some more run good because we did outflop him. We hit a king to take all of his chips and send this poor kid home. This was a really fun session, especially after having such a bad tournament run this trip. So it was nice to end the trip on a win streak, and we were able to recoup most of our losses here. So in this cash session, we were in for $500 because we had to reload that very first hand with the kings. And we cashed out with $840 for a profit of $340. Right as I was racking up, my friend Stephanie texted me and told me that she had just made the money in the $300 Survivor tournament, the same one I played. She won the $2,500 and survived till the top 10%, so huge congrats to her. She did amazing. She powered through and totally crushed it. We also swapped some equity, so I also got a little piece of that, which was awesome too. So overall, super great ending to this trip. I'm ready to head back home now and get some rest. This has been a crazy trip, but a really fun trip, and I'll see you guys back in Phoenix. So that's gonna be it for vlog number 4. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a super fun trip, and I'm glad I was able to take you guys on that journey. Would you guys do me a huge favor? Would you please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel? It would mean the world to me. I'm really appreciative and thankful for all the support we've had thus far, and it's only gonna get better from here. Even though it was a super fun trip, I'm really happy to be back home and play some at my local casino, but I am actually leaving to Vegas again pretty soon, so a new vlog will be out really soon. In the meantime, check out some of my other vlogs. Thank you guys so much again for the support, and we'll see you guys back for vlog number 5. Also, if you're stuck at home and can't get to a casino, I have the perfect option for you. Xpoker is the newest, best online mobile poker app. You can download it on iOS or Android. We have games for everybody, all the way from micro stakes to high stakes, and we have cool, amazing guarantee tournaments. Signing up only takes a minute or 2, and we'll get you in there and you'll be crushing those games in no time. Just use club ID 69420, referral code 195689, and we'll see you at the tables.